From Maryland is
I
recognized.
thank the gentleman for yielding, Mr. Speaker. The challenging times we live in force us to make difficult choices about our priorities. The reconciliation bill before us today is an example of choosing the wrong priorities. While we must address our deficits and avert sequestration, the Republican reconciliation bill does it absolutely the wrong way. It places the entire burden of deficit reduction on the most vulnerable while asking nothing of the best off. Indeed, it asks for more from those who have less and less from those who have more. It harms seniors and children by eliminating social services block grants, which provide for programs for our communities like child protection services and Meals on Wheels. They say they're getting rid of fraud, waste, and abuse. I've heard that for 31 years, while they added $6.4 trillion to the deficit. It slashes food stamp funding by $33.2 billion. They say that's waste, fraud, and abuse. CBO does not agree. It's real assistance to families in need. Furthermore, it cuts the pay of middle-class workers who serve the public, the only workers who it adversely affects. These are the priorities we've seen throughout the Republican budget: ending the Medicare guarantee, slashing jobs while cutting taxes for the wealthiest at the expense of seniors. The gentleman from Wisconsin says this bill doesn't do that. He's correct. His budget did that. Middle-class families and those who are the most vulnerable pay the price. Democrats have our own proposal. Unfortunately, it wasn't made in order. As the gentleman from Maryland, my colleague, said, you only had to waive one rule as opposed to the three you waived for your budget, but you wouldn't do it because you didn't want to have the American public see the real alternatives out here. I regret that. To that extent, you closed down this rule, which you railed so much against. May I have 30 additional seconds, Mr. Chairman?
I yield the gentleman another 30 seconds.
I thank the gentleman. Unlike today's Republican bill, our proposal reduced deficits in a balanced way, prevented sequestration through a balanced combination of spending cuts and revenues. And let me say something. Nobody's asked to make a sacrifice in the richest country on the earth. What we have to do is make appropriate contributions. Nobody's asked to make a sacrifice, and certainly not the most vulnerable in our country, as does this reconciliation bill. Mr. Speaker, I urge opposition to this bill. We can and should do better.